in the local coronavirus relief fund 2050. I'm not sure who this is reimbursing, so I will refer to the service safety director or the auditor. Auditor Nettles.
Yeah, this is the additional coronavirus money that we got through via House Bill 614. This is the additional that was passed down through from the federal, state to the county, and then the county to us. So we have the cash in hand. I just had to increase our revenue budget and expense budget so I can get these reimbursements back to the appropriate department.
We don't get to spend all that money unless we have true reimbursements for it.
And we do.
And we do.
And we do. We're going to spend it all.
Okay, perfect. Any questions for the auditor on 11620? Seeing none, we will ask for suspension. Mrs. Bobbitt, will you be the second on this, please?
I sure will.
All right, we will suspend on 11620. Thank you, Trish. Next item I have on tonight's agenda is Resolution 11720. That's a resolution authorizing the Service Safety Director to enter into an engineering agreement for various construction administrative services for the Lawrence Street Water Pollution Control Facility Improvement Project. This is coming through the Water Pollution Committee. Mr. James.
Yes, I will yield some time to Stephen Wellstead to discuss this at somewhat length.
Good evening, everybody. Yeah, so you're all aware, of course, of the improvement project we've planned down there at the Lawrence Street Water Pollution Control Facility, and design, of course, is concluded. We have bid the project. We do have a contractor that's our low bidder, and we're looking to award next month when the loan from OWBA is approved, and in the meantime, we are looking to have obtain a contract with Arcadis for their services for various construction administration and construction inspection services throughout the project for the 2.5 years it's expected to be constructed. And that amount that we've noted in there is $3.5 million for that. And I know I will note we are working to get this cost included on the loan that we're using for construction from OWDA. I've talked to our administrator at OEPA, and she is working to try to get us included. I haven't been told that it is a for sure thing yet, but I'm optimistic based on the feedback I've gotten from her that can be included. So otherwise, I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for Mr. Wellstead? Seeing none. Mr. James, your timing and your second, please.
Yes. Our second will be Mr. Hall.
And your timing?
2 readings.
All right, so we'll go 2 readings on 11720. Next item is 11820. That is a resolution to authorize the Service Safety Director to enter into an engineering contract.
And I will once again yield some time to Ms. Denise Cruz to discuss this.
Good evening. This is our annual contract with Hull & Associates to provide resident project inspection and general engineering services. I told you a couple weeks ago that this contract was not going to be as high as the contract we had this year, and it is true, it's just higher than what we've had in past years because engineering has notified us that they don't have staffing to provide inspections on private developments. So we'll be utilizing Hull for sanitary sewer work on private projects and a backup for the stormwater inspector. So the contract that we're asking is $100,000 instead of our normal $70,000. It's just a staffing and a move that we decided to make at this time.
This is a 2021 contract?
This is a 2021 contract.
Very good. Questions for Denise? Mr. James, your timing and second, please.
This can go 3 readings, and Ms. Teener, will you second?
All right, this will go a full 3 readings. on 1/18/20. Next item I have is 1/19/20, a resolution to authorize the Service Safety Director to enter into a contract for inspection services. Again, Mr. James coming through water pollution.
And Ms. Cruz is still there at the podium, and I'll yield time for her to discuss this.
This is our annual contract with Ben Warner to provide resident project representative services. Ben's been with us since 2004 and does an excellent job, works really well with contractors and really represents the city very well. In the second half of the year, Ben's gonna be out at Lawrence Street as a resident project representative, so that's the majority of the contract. The first part of the year, we'll be using him on odds and ends of projects.
How do you spell Ben's last name?
Woerner.
Okay. Questions for Denise? James, your timing and second, please.
This will go for 3 readings, and Mr. Hall, will you second that?
All right, we'll go 3 readings on 1/19/20. Next item I have is 1/20/20. That's a resolution to authorize the Service Safety Director enter into an engineering agreement for the 2021 sewer evaluation and rehabilitation project design. Program design. Again, Mr. James coming through water pollution.
I will yield time to Ms. Cruz again for this discussion.
So for several years, we've wanted to start looking at sewers and get ahead of sewer issues and move towards kind of a asset management, preventative maintenance type thing. So we put out a request for qualifications. We selected EMH&T from New Albany. So for 2021, this is gonna be a several-year project. For 2021, we've identified 4 projects. One is the Zane Alley sewer lining. The second is an evaluation of the 6th Avenue sanitary sewer. Now that we've separated the storm sewer, we want to make sure the sanitary sewer is in good shape before they do paving. We're going to evaluate the Broad Street storm sewer, up from Mulberry all the way up to the fairgrounds. We've done from the fairgrounds out to the river, as part of the sewer lining project last year. And then the 4th project is the Union Street sanitary sewer near Maud. We know we have a problem there. We discovered it a while ago. We just haven't had the time or the money to get in and look at that. So they're gonna come back in and take a look. It's not an easy fix because of the way the sewer is designed and because of the utilities that run through the sewer. So we needed somebody that had some experience. So this would authorize the contract for that evaluation and rehab program.
Questions for Denise? Seeing none, Mr. James, your timing and your second, please.
2 readings, and Mr. Hall, would you also second that?
All right, we'll go 2 readings on 1/20/20. Thanks, Denise.
Thank you.
Thank you, Stephen. Next item I have is Resolution 1/21/20. That is the 2021 city budget. I will actually ask for comments from Mayor Scheffler.
Thank you, Councilman Stoughton. You have in front of you the first draft of the 2021 budget. I will say it will be significantly refined and amended over the next 2 meetings for a number of reasons. One is we are just putting our new financial software into use, and this is the first budget, and we're still learning the idiosyncrasies and exactly how it works. It's made preparing the budget much easier on a number of fronts, especially for the department heads, and especially in the payroll area, because it pretty much automates the calculation of all the withholdings and taxes and all that. In addition to that, the city income tax increase passed on last Tuesday, and so police and fire are currently updating their budgets to take that into effect, and that will take some time to exactly know where we're going and what we're going to do with that. There are no union payroll adjustments in here because we are in negotiations with 4 bargaining units, and that may not be resolved until the end of the budget period, or maybe even into next year. There are no payroll adjustments for non-union employees. There is no update for 2021 for the group insurance. We changed group insurance carriers this year, and we're still working on what the annual increase will be, so the number in there is just at last year's rate. And any number of other updates and changes that we'll be making as we get over the next 2 weeks, and looking forward to having it finalized and pass the meeting in December.
Are there questions for Mayor Scheffler? Okay, Mayor Scheffler, thank you for presenting the budget. I know there's a lot that's omitted at this point in time. It is a new version of the budget, actually spit out by a new application, which is a good thing. Not built by 147 other spreadsheets being absorbed into it. So I look forward to that. I want to share that we had a special finance committee meeting last Thursday where we talked about general fund, really police and fire, and the impact because of the passage of the tax levy. I thought we had a good discussion about what the strategy was going forward, which is in alignment with what was told to the voters as to how that money was going to be spent. So I know this is the first cut. It's nice to have a budget in our hands, but I wouldn't go making a lot of compares on this one. It's going to get modified quite a bit until we get to the third reading, which should have the full budget for 2021, and again with pending contracts as well. Yes, Mayor. Sure.
I would offer, as I have in the past, that if anyone has any questions about the budget or needs some education on the budget, don't hesitate to call me, stop in. Be happy to answer any questions that you might have. So let's not wait till the meeting in December to start asking questions.
Well, so what that really sounded like to me was the mayor's willing to take you to lunch and answer all your budget questions that you might have. So,
Hey, Tom.
yes, sir.
Not really a question for the mayor, but maybe a suggestion that might not be a good suggestion, but it could be helpful if we collapse the spreadsheets into just the header categories so that we can more easily compare changes over the time periods from a general categorical standpoint, if that wouldn't be too much trouble.
This budget started out this morning, it was 123 pages long, and it's now 46 pages because I spent all afternoon collapsing it from 123 down to 46. So we might be able to accomplish that, but we'll see as we go on. You're talking about like
Just as a general guide, yes.
city council, the count 1,000 city council.
Exactly.
One line only for that?
Yeah, just,
Oh.
and again, I certainly want to make sure that we keep the detail that we have.
Right.
But just to have, a summary that hits just the matrix header so that we can get a general sense of what the movement is across the big.
We'll see what we can do with that.
Thank you, sir.
I would almost bet you $1 that you could condense that down to, like line 1,000, line 1,250, line 1,300, but I know you'll need to talk with
Oh,
your.
you certainly can. It's just a matter of
I know.
taking the time to do
I know.
it. Yeah.
And again, I worked him over pretty good the other day, and so did Holly last Thursday, Orman. So we all want what you want. So, but no, we do want to see it that way from a very high level, but it gives you a quick at a glance. So this conceivably would be 2 pages, and you can see the impact changes by department, which is what I think you're looking for. If they can't produce it, I will. I have budget bridges that I created, but it'd be basically the rip, read, and rekey where, I'm taking it from here, putting it in the spreadsheet, and then producing it, which I'll do if that's what we have to do. But I know what you're saying, and it's a good idea. So, further questions or comments? Yes, President.
Thank you, Councilman Stone. Are the colors magical? I know different colors throughout.
Well, of course they're magical.
Help me out with what.
They're magically delicious.
Yeah, excellent.
We had a unicorn working on this. Actually, no. You starts out in orange, and that's the general fund. The 1,000 accounts or the 1,000 departments, and it goes to 2,000 departments, and as you switch into a new category, it changes colors. So it's easy to tell where one ends and the other begins.
Okay, but that doesn't, not enterprise fund versus some
Yeah,
other.
enterprise funds are, I forget what color they are.
Right, but so they're a specific color in here,
Yes,
but it's just sort of randomly selected by the software?
by me,
By you?
yes.
Okay. All right, thank you.
All right, well, that was a huge value add there.
Hey, I want to see what the colors mean. Because here's orange and there's orange.
I
Why are
know,
they both
I
orange?
know. You're just a control freak.
No, I just,
All right,
just like to
so-
know things.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you for your questions, and this will be the first of 3 readings tonight, and Mrs. Bobbitt will be the sponsor, I'll be the second, but I will give it the first reading tonight for our clerk, yeah, Deb. I just, you know.
Can't take him
All right, I
anywhere.
froze up. I haven't sat in this chair in a while.
That's
so.
all right. You're
All right,
doing
moving on. We will move on to 12220. Finding my bearings here. And that is a resolution to appropriate from the unencumbered balance and amend the certificate with the county auditor and the Parks Improvements Fund 3015. This is coming through the Service Committee. Mrs. Tierney.
Yes, the Olivedale, they were updating, updating the fire system, and in doing so, some of the equipment was not compatible with the old equipment they have now, so we need to get 13 new detectors installed in Olivedale, and this is what this is about, and need money to transfer and to pay for that. Paul, do you have anything else to add?
That's perfect. A lot of people don't realize there's detectors in the air ducts, so that if any smoke or flames or anything goes through there, but they were not compatible with the update that we did. Sometimes they are, but in this case, this is coming, this is not any money from the general fund. This is just reappropriating from their available cash that they have.
And they are actually still open. They have somebody monitoring, so, at the time, right now, so they're still running there, so.
Need to have a fire system.
Yep.
Who's your second and what's your timer?
We need to suspend this evening, and Mr. Matlin.
All right, so we will suspend on 12220. Thank you. Next item I have is ordinance 2520. That is an ordinance to repeal and replace the Chapter 183 of the Lancaster City Municipal Income Tax Code. This is coming through the Law Committee. Mr. Hall.
Well, how cool is this? That we have an opportunity to suspend and change the code as a result of our election.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
No.
I don't think that's what this
Oh, no.
does,
No,
Mr.
no,
Hall.
no, no,
Yeah, no,
What are
that's
we
later.
spending?
That's later. This is something different.
This is for her to
News
make,
to me.
this is to make her job a lot easier.
Never mind, I heard 2520, and I guess I just jumped ahead.
Well, no, you're not
What
wrong.
did you
though.
add to it?
We're happy for the next piece, whenever they certify the election, that'll be a good
Amy
one.
didn't like that, she wanted more changes.
My portion of this is, with our new software upgrade, we have the capability of uploading W-2s electronically. So this is our way of requiring employers with 150 more employees to send that file to us. So we're not hand keying hours and hours and hours. So that's just to update that. And then there's a section, we've acknowledged 1099s for the employers to require them to send us copies of those as well, so we can track down who's doing business in our town and who's not, and who's filing taxes and who's not, so. that's all it.
And then the other change to that piece is recapturing the withholding incentives that we originally had in Chapter 181 that we kind of missed in our subsequent adoptions of 182 and 183 in compliance with House Bill 5 and House Bill 49 out of the state legislature. So just trying to incorporate those back in with 2 new sections, but they read exactly as they read as council passed it back in 2015.
Okay, any questions? What's your timing on this?
set for 2?
I was gonna say, we have it set for 2, and the reason we did that is, so that we could get it to the codification company. The other nice timing piece is that, with the certification of, the election, we will be able to bring our other ordinance involving changes to chapter 183 off the table. I'll let you run from it with you. Go ahead.
You know what, I came prepared to suspend if we needed to, so I have that language ready. If that would be the preference.
We
but if
actually,
can go
we
with
actually
2.
don't. We can't pull that piece off until they actually
all right.
certify the election results. So we're gonna have to wait until next meeting, which is perfect, with introducing this, and that way if anybody has any questions between now and the next meeting, and then we can, make all those changes to 183 at the same time, so.
All right, looks like we're going for 2 then, Tom.
Perfect. Who's your second?
I'm sorry, Don.
Mr. McDaniel. All right, very good. Any
All right.
further comments?
Anything
Very
else?
good. Thank you. We will go 2 readings on ordinance 2520. Do we have any departmental updates this evening? Mayor Shepherd, you can go.
I have something that I wanted to talk about. It's not necessarily a departmental update. I spent some time this afternoon on the phone with Jack Chinoso, the CEO of the hospital, and the county commissioners, and we are in big trouble here in Fairfield County. The hospital is basically full. We had 219 new cases over the weekend, and the commissioners are convening an emergency meeting tonight at 8 o'clock with them, Paul Martin and I, the hospital executives, the emergency management agency director. And I have posted the link to that on my Facebook page if anybody wants to listen in. If we're not finished by 8 o'clock, Paul and I will be departing to go participate in that meeting. But we need to get the word out that we need to practice all of the precautionary measures that we've heard about for a long time, because it is not a pretty situation.
Okay. Duly noted. Thank you.
Tom, maybe just real quickly, January is the peak, so we still have 2 months of likely increasing infections over the next couple of months. But there is some good news in all of this. The ratio of deaths to infections has declined from May to when we were at close to 9 deaths per 100,000 or per 100 infections, down to around 1 death per 100 infections. So there are elements of this disease state that are getting better, but infections are going to increase over the next couple of months, and it could get really, really bad from that perspective.
Okay, well, again, noted, thank you for the information on the meeting. We will deal with it as we need to. I think Denise was next, or, yeah. Did you have a comment specific to that, or
No, I've got,
an update?
I got to add, not theirs, I got new.
Okay, thank you.
Well, I just wanted to alert you to 3 pieces of legislation that you'll see at the next meeting. The first will be a appropriation and transfer from the Stormwater Fund to the Stormwater Improvement Fund. That'll take care of construction invoices for the rest of the year. I knew it was coming. I was just kind of waiting to see what the construction contracts were going to come in at. The second one is we've received the proposal from Arcadis for the upper Hocking design. So you will see legislation on that. We would like that passed before the end of the year. It's going to be somewhere around $2 million for the design of the pump station and the plant, which is well in line with the first phase of the upper Hocking and the Lawrence Street upgrades. And then the third one is an interesting situation. We had a building owner on Columbus Street that was having sewer problems, and as we got investigating, he found out that his sewer line was blocked. We didn't know why. We opened up the street and found out when they built the downtown project, they put the storm sewer through his lateral, did not reconnect it, just shoved some bricks in the end, and it's been like that for 20 years. So he has a valid complaint, and he'll be submitting a claim as soon as he gets the final invoice from the contractor. It's gonna be about $42,000. So you'll see legislation for that. We have to work out between us and gas how much is going to be for each one. So you'll see legislation on that in the next meeting, and we'll want to suspend on that so we can pay the property owner.
Okay,
Okay?
very
Thank
good.
you.
Thank you. Auditor Nettles, you're next.
Just letting you know, next meeting, I'll have 3 new legislation pieces. One, of course, is for the new fund, for the income tax levy that was passed. And then I'll have another one that we received an email from the county auditor's office again. They're waiting until after November 20th to see how much COVID distribution they have left. And if they have any money left, they're going to distribute that out prorationally to everybody, so it means we could be getting more COVID relief monies. So I may be having legislation on the next meeting to set a revenue budget and appropriate those as well. And then also working with the law director, I said this in our Thursday evening meeting, but for those that weren't there, that I need to create a legislation piece to act as a purchase order for the salary and benefits for this COVID money. Talking with the Auditor of State's office, their legal department wants legislation passed before City Council to act like a purchase order. So to give me the ability to, because the legislature said it was the encumbered funds, and salaries and benefits are never encumbered. So this was their solution to that legislation saying the word encumbered. So I'll be bringing 3 new pieces.
Okay, thank you. Questions? I sense not. Further updates? Seeing none, I'll move on to President Uhl for tonight's meeting prep.
Thank you, Councilman Stoughton. I have no other prep for tonight's meeting other than to say you've done a masterful job running this meeting here.
I don't think you've ever done it before.
Yeah, I can, just like,
Foreign to me. All right. Any other items for finance? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion, we adjourn?
I second that motion. We are adjourned.
the regular meeting of Lancaster City Council will begin at 6:35.
There is no place like Lancaster, Ohio, and Fairfield County, and like you, I am proud to call them home. As a longtime resident of Lancaster and graduate of Lancaster High School, this community is important to me, and I want to provide superior customer service, professionalism, integrity, and honesty at the Connor Insurance Agency. I am committed to supporting local programs and projects through my volunteer work and board membership with several organizations. It has been a great honor to work with all the first responders throughout Lancaster, Fairfield County, and the state of Ohio to put on Kids and Cops Day, to be a part of Shop with a Cop alongside the Lancaster Police Department and JFS, and to help Lancaster Public Education Foundation raise funds to support our local public schools and teachers. These men and women work hard to protect and support our community, and I would like to take this moment to say thank you for all they do. My goal as a business owner and insurance agent is to provide my clients with the most appropriate services and coverage for their needs at a competitive rate. As an independent agent, I have several carriers to choose from so I can customize your insurance coverage to fit your needs and desires. I strive to make sure there are no gaps in your coverage that could be harmful, and just as important, that you are not overinsured. I look forward to serving your insurance needs now and in the future. At Connor Insurance, we are here to serve you by protecting what is important to you. Please contact my office at 740-654-2848 for a full list of services and carriers, or visit my website, ConnorInsuranceAgency.com.
Swing into the Carriage Company and check out our sweet deals.
If you're looking for the best selection of clean, quality used vehicles, look no further than the Carriage Company. You'll feel secure with your purchase, knowing all vehicles undergo an extensive safety and service check prior to the sale. And all vehicles can be viewed online at carriagecompany.com. The Carriage Company, located at 1031 North Memorial Drive in Lancaster.
So wait!
The Frankie Smith Funeral Home and Crematory in Lancaster. and the Johnson Smith Funeral Home in Baltimore have a long and wonderful history of serving our community. Feel free to give us a call at 740-653-0652. Stop in and see us at either of our two locations, 405 North Columbus Street in Lancaster and 207 South Main Street in Baltimore. Respect for tradition, regard for change.
We thank you for your many, many blessings, and today we pause and we count them and continue to give you praise for who you are and thanks for what you have done. Lord, we know that the election has been officially called but is yet to be officially certified, and tonight we pray you would be with both candidates, that you would be with the American people, that over these next days and weeks we might experience patience and calm and unity as we work through this process. Today, Father, we pause, and as Wednesday approaches and Veterans Day is upon us, we thank you for each person who has served this great country, for those, Lord, who have given the ultimate sacrifice, and for those who have served and made it back home. We give you thanks for each one and ask that you would continue to be with them and their families. We thank you for our city, for our employees. Bless and keep them as they serve, and be with us tonight. Lead, guide, and direct us, we pray, and all that happens will give you glory. In Jesus' name, amen. I hereby call this meeting of Lancaster City Council to order. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Let me just note quickly that as we broke between finance and city council, that I received a text or so saying that if each person could speak directly into the microphone, there was a little trouble on TV hearing certain members, and so we want to make sure that your comments are heard. Please speak directly into the microphone, and also, make sure that it's actually turned on. With that, we welcome Clerk Deb, interim clerk sitting in for Clerk Sandy, and so we'll ask that you call the roll, ma'am.
Ms. Bobbitt,
Here.
Ms. Downhour, Mr. Hall,
Here.
Mr. James,
Here.
Mr. Matlin,
Here.
Mr. McDaniel,
Here.
Mr. Schoonover,
Here.
Mr. Stoughton,
Here.
and Mrs. Teener.
Here.
Very good. Let the record reflect that 8 of 9 members of council are in attendance tonight. Mr. Stoughton.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to make a motion that council excuse Councilwoman Downhour from tonight's meeting.
Second?
We have a motion and a second to excuse Ms. Downhour from tonight's meeting. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Reading and disposing of the journal.
Mr. Schoonover, I have one. The regular meeting minutes dated October 26, 2020.
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion to receive and file the journal.
Second?
We have a motion and a second to receive and file the journal. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Reports of city officials.
Mr. Schoonover, I have three. An email dated November 3rd, 2020 regarding special finance committee meetings submitted by Mayor David Scheffler. An email dated November 4th, 2020 regarding special finance committee meetings submitted by Mrs. Downhour. And the finance committee meeting minutes of November 9th, 2020.
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion to receive and file the reports of city officials.
Second?
We have a motion and a second to receive and file reports of city officials. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Are there any communications?
Mr. Schoonover, I have two. Notice to legislative authority of a stock change to a liquor license for Tiki Bowling Lanes, Inc., located at 1521 Tiki Lane, Lancaster, Ohio, 43130, submitted by the Ohio Division of Liquor Control, 6606 Tussing Road, Reynoldsburg, Ohio, 43068. And an email dated November 6, 2020 regarding 2021 petitions ready submitted by Leslie Morgan, Board of Election Services Senior Election Official.
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion to receive and file the communications.
Second?
We have a motion and a second to receive and file communications. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Are there any petitions or memorials this evening?
There are none.
At this time, we set time aside at each council meeting to allow the voters and taxpayers of City Council to address us on any item or issue that they would like. If you'd like to address Lancaster City Council tonight, we invite you to come forward, sign in at the podium with your name and address, and state the same for the record. Please note that while City Council will not respond to you during this portion of the meeting, we may choose to do so at a later portion. In accordance with the rules of City Council, we ask that you would keep your comments to 5 minutes or less. Is there anyone who'd like to address Lancaster City Council tonight? I see Ms. Sitterly, please come forward. We are glad that you're here tonight, and go ahead.
Thank you. On behalf of Brad Hutchinson and myself, we would just like to say thank you to council and to all the city officials and the city of Lancaster for getting behind the levy during a year when chaos and uncertainty, it was a very unpopular thing to raise taxes, but we really appreciate people listening and taking the time to get educated for what we feel is very important to the city, and we are thrilled that it passed. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ms. Sitterly. Yes, Mr. Stoughton.
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion that we go outside the regular order of business so we can respond to Jennifer.
We have a motion to go outside the regular rules of business, the regular order of business. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second to go outside the regular order of business. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. We're outside the regular rules, or regular order. Mr. Stoughton.
I'll let you go first.
Well, I just want to say thank you, Jennifer, for the work that you and Brad did. I know the mayor wants to chime in as well, and I imagine everyone around the table. What a great success we experienced. I know that there were many who got behind it, but you and Brad did a significant amount of work to make this a reality. The citizens of Lancaster will be the beneficiaries, but we're so grateful to you for all that you've done. So thank you very, very much. There will be at an appropriate time in the future an official sort of presentation that we will give to you, but we're glad that you're here. You'll have to bring Brad with you though when we do that one. I know he'll be excited about that. So thank you. Mr. Mayor, I'll give you the floor if you'd like to respond.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. Again, I'd just like to echo what David said. I don't think anybody realizes the hours that Jennifer and Brad put into this project, not to mention their employees. And Jennifer spent a lot of time studying the financial intricacies of the city budget and the way the city works. And I got calls and text messages at all hours and sometimes phone calls. How does this work? How does that work? Why is this? Why isn't that? Those kinds of things. So they really went out of their way to understand the need, the way the city budget works, which I've said to a number of times in the past, that it's much more complicated than even I imagined before I ran. So I just can't say enough. And, you know, the whole city appreciates all the work that you did.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. I'm going to go to Mr. Stoughton if he wants to say something as the mover of the motion, and then we'll circle back around our way to the table.
Well, I'm going to defer to Mr. Martin. He had his hand up and let him go before.
Mr.
So,
Martin.
you know, one thing that Jennifer and Brad have always said, it wasn't, you know, they did a wonderful thing, but it's also the team spirit. They've acknowledged a lot of others that contributed to this campaign as well. You know, our firefighters, Local 291, was really amazing during this process. We had some key citizens that jumped on and had a great influence in our community that saw that the need was genuine and there. And so I want to give credit to a lot of other people, and I know Brad and Jennifer want that as well. And we appreciate them. If it hadn't been for them, they wouldn't have started. But they really did need a team behind them, and a team got behind them. And so we're grateful for everybody's support to see the success of this levy pass.
Very good. Thank you, Mr. Martin. Anyone else who'd like to comment on this particular topic? Well, Mr. Stoughton.
Thank you. The amazing thing, Jennifer, is how well you and Brad and others were able to distill down the intricacies of governmental budgeting and to put it in a message that really resonated with our voters. And so from the bottom of my heart and the bottom of the heart of the city, thank you very much.
Yes, indeed. Thank you. Mr. Hall, I know I saw your hand.
Yeah, I don't know that I can say any more than what Tom just did. I think what Jennifer and Brad did was nothing short of magnificent. I mean, we all know what the results of the previous two elections were. And for us to make up that much ground and for it to pass this time was an amazing feat that really saved our city, and it is much appreciated.
Yes, very good. Others, Mr. James.
Just one quick comment. Good luck on getting Brad here to have any kind of accolades. When he spoke at our Kiwanis group and talked about the renovation of the building where your office is, other things came up and he was not readily, he didn't want to acknowledge that. So we understand that. And one quick anecdote, and I don't want to take too much time, as I encourage my oldest grandson, his first election in a presidential election, we're standing out in line on Sunday before the Tuesday election, and I said, you know, I'm not going to influence how you vote, but Grandma and Grandpa, meaning myself and my wife, aren't getting any younger, and another fire EMS group would really be helpful, because over the past few months and in the last year or so, we've used that EMS quite often. And so at the end of it, I didn't ask him how I voted, and he said, I reluctantly voted for it. So that in addition to that, I canvassed a lot of people, and I'm nothing compared to what good, concise information that all of you put together in the paper, and anybody that called me and questioned it, I had clear answers. So once again, my hat's off to you, Brad, city officials. Awesome job. Great stuff.
Thank you, Mr. James. Anyone else like to comment? Well, again, thank you for being here. Thanks to you and Brad again for all that you've done. We appreciate it. And we'll look forward to seeing you again here soon, maybe before the end of the year. We'll let you know. I know you're excited too. Yeah, it'll be great. All right, Mr. Stoughton, just put us back in the regular order.
I'd like to move us back into the regular order of business.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to return to the regular order of business. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Is there anyone else who would like to address Lancaster City Council this evening? If not, we will move on to the reports of standing committees.
Mr. Schoonover, you have 3. Finance Committee meeting dated October 26, 2020, submitted by Mrs. Downhour. Water Pollution Water Control meeting dated October 14, 2020, submitted by Mr. James. And the Special Finance Committee meeting dated November 5th, 2020, submitted by Mrs. Downhour.
Mr. President, I would like to make a motion to receive and file the reports of standing committees.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to receive and file reports of standing committees. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Are there reports of special committees?
None were submitted to council.
We have no public hearings this evening, so we'll move to the reading of resolutions, beginning with the second reading of Temporary Resolution 113-20.
A resolution authorizing the Service Safety Director to enter into a contract for construction of the Lawrence Street Water Pollution Control Facility Improvements Project.
Sponsored by Mr. James, second by Mr. Hall. Mr. James.
Mr. President, at this time, I would like to make a motion that council suspend its rules and waive the third reading of resolution temporarily numbered 113-20.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to suspend the rules and waive the third reading of Temporary Resolution 113-20. Mr. James.
I'll save discussion for when we go to pass it.
Very good. Is there discussion on the motion to suspend? Please call the roll.
Ms. Bobbitt,
Yes.
Mr. Hall,
Yes.
Mr. James,
Yes.
Mr. Matlin,
Yes.
Mr. McDaniel,
Yes.
Mr. Schoonover,
Yes.
Mr. Stoughton,
Yes.
Mrs. Teener.
Yes.
Motion to suspend passes 8-0. Mr. James.
Mr. President, at this time, I would like to make a motion that council pass, engross, and enter upon the written record resolution temporarily numbered 113-20.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to pass, engross, and enter upon the written record Temporary Resolution 113-20. Discussion, Mr. James.
Now's the time to go ahead and get into the contract to start the process of upgrading and repairing and preparing the Lawrence Street facility for the future. And we've gotten all very good bids from a very good contractor. Our city superintendents have done an awesome job of putting together the specifications, evaluating all of the bids, and it's time for us to enter into a contract.
Very good. Further discussion on the motion to pass? Please call the roll.
Ms. Bobbitt,
Yes.
Mr. Hall,
Yes.
Mr. James,
Yes.
Mr. Matlin,
Yes.
Mr. McDaniel,
Yes.
Mr. Schoonover,
Yes.
Mr. Stoughton,
Yes.
Mrs. Teener.
Yes.
Temporary Resolution 113-20 passes 8-0. We now have first reading on a series of resolutions, beginning with Temporary Resolution 116-20.
A resolution to increase receipts, appropriate from the unencumbered balance in the local coronavirus relief fund 2050, amend the certificate of other sources and appropriations with the county auditor.
Coming through finance for tonight, Mr. Stoughton.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. I would like to make a motion that council suspend its rules and waive the second and third reading of Resolution Temporary 11620.
Second?
We have a motion and a second to suspend the rules and waive the second and third reading of Temporary Resolution 116-20. Discussion, Mr. Stoughton.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. I'm asking for suspension tonight because the auditor would like to appropriate the almost $1.5 million additional CARES Act fund for the city so they can be appropriated and spent for reimbursement.
Very good. Further discussion on the motion to suspend? Please call the roll.
Ms. Bobbitt,
Yes.
Mr. Hall,
Yes.
Mr. James,
Yes.
Mr. Matlin,
Yes.
Mr. McDaniel,
Yes.
Mr. Schoonover,
Yes.
Ms. Teener,
Yes.
Mr. Stoughton.
Yes.
Motion to suspend carries 8-0. Mr. Stoughton.
Thank you, Mr. President. I would like to make a motion that council pass, engross, and enter upon the written record Resolution Temporary 11620.
Second?
A motion and a second to pass, engross, and enter upon the written record Temporary Resolution 116-20. Discussion, Mr. Stoughton.
No, thank you.
Discussion on the motion to pass. Please call the roll.
Ms. Bobbitt,
Yes.
Mr. Hall,
Yes.
Mr. James,
Yes.
Mr. Matlin,
Yes.
Mr. McDaniel,
Yes.
Mr. Schoonover,
Yes.
Mr. Stoughton,
Yes.
Mrs. Teener.
Yes.
Temporary Resolution 116-20 passes 8-0. Temporary Resolution 117-20.
117-20 is a resolution authorizing the Service Safety Director to enter into an engineering agreement for various construction administration services for the Lawrence Street Water Pollution Control Facility Improvement Project.
Coming through Water Pollution Control, Mr. James.
Yes, we heard in the Finance Committee meeting some explanation of this, and this will be the first of two readings for this resolution.
First reading, Temporary Resolution 117-20. Temporary Resolution 118-20.
A resolution to authorize the Service Safety Director to enter into an engineering contract.
Coming through Water Pollution Control, Mr. James.
Once again, in the Finance Committee meeting, we had some explanation of this, and this will be the first of three readings for this temporary resolution.
First reading on Temporary Resolution 118-20. Temporary Resolution 119-20.
A resolution to authorize the Service Safety Director to enter into a contract for inspection services.
Coming through Water Pollution Control, Mr. James.
At the risk of sounding like a broken record, this was also discussed in Finance Committee, and this is the first of three readings for this temporary resolution.
First of three readings on Temporary Resolution 119-20. Temporary Resolution 120-20.
A resolution to authorize the Service Safety Director to enter into an engineering agreement for the 2021 sewer evaluation and rehabilitation program design.
Coming through Water Pollution Control, Mr. James.
Yes, this will be the first of two readings for this resolution.
First of two readings on Temporary Resolution 120-20. Temporary Resolution 121-20.
A resolution to make appropriations for the current 2021 budget expenses and other expenditures of the City of Lancaster, State of Ohio for the fiscal year 2021, and to establish line item transfer authority for city departments.
This coming through Finance, Mr. Stoughton.
Thank you, Mr. President. This is the first of three readings.
First of three readings on Temporary Resolution 121-20. Temporary Resolution 122-20.
A resolution to appropriate from the unencumbered balance and to amend the certificate of appropriations with the county auditor in the Park Improvement Fund 3015.
Coming through the Service Committee, Ms. Teener.
Yeah, Mr. President, I would like to make a motion that council suspend its rules and waive the second and third readings of temporary resolution 12220.
Second. A motion and a second to suspend the rules and waive the second and third reading of temporary resolution 122-20. Ms. Teener,
Not at this time.
any discussion on the motion to suspend? Please call the roll.
Ms. Bobbitt,
Yes.
Mr. Hall,
Yes.
Mr. James,
Yes.
Mr. Matlin,
Yes.
Mr. McDaniel,
Yes.
Mr. Schoonover,
Yes.
Mr. Stoughton.
Yes.
Ms. Teener.
Yes.
Motion to suspend passes 8-0. Ms. Teener.
Mr. President, I would like to make a motion that council pass, engross, and enter upon the written record temporary resolution 12220.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to pass, engross, and enter upon the written record temporary resolution 122-20. Discussion, Ms. Teener.
Yes, and updating the fire system at Olive Dale. What the new system is not compatible with some of the items that's already installed with the old system, so they need to install 13 new detectors in Olive Dale, and we just need to appropriate money to pay for the service.
Very good. Thank you, Ms. Teener. Further discussion on the motion to pass? Please call the roll.
Ms. Bobbitt,
Yes.
Mr. Hall,
Yes.
Mr. James,
Yes.
Mr. Matlin,
Yes.
Mr. McDaniel,
Yes.
Mr. Schoonover,
Yes.
Mr. Stoughton,
Yes.
Ms. Teener.
Yes.
Temporary resolution 122-20 passes 8-0. Are there any further resolutions to come before Lancaster City Council this evening? If not, we'll move to the reading of ordinances, beginning with the first reading of temporary ordinance 25-20.
Yes, Mr. President, this would be the first of two, and it was discussed in finance this evening.
All that is true. We just have to have the clerk read the preamble.
Oh.
That's okay. Jump the gun just by a
hate
minute.
it when
That's
I do
okay.
that.
Go ahead.
Trying to get you out of here by 7.
He's doing good.
An
We're all right.
ordinance to repeal and replace Lancaster Codified Ordinance Part 1, Administrative Code, Title 9, Taxation, Chapter 183, Municipal Income Tax, effective January 1st, 2018, of the codified ordinances of the City of Lancaster, and to declare an emergency.
Coming through law now, Mr. Hall.
Yes, one of two discussed in finance this
Thank
evening.
you very much. Still all true. First of two readings on temporary ordinance 25-20. Are there any further ordinances to come before Lancaster City Council this evening? If not, we'll move to tabled legislation. Is there any action on tabled legislation this evening? I see Ms. Teener saying no for her piece, and as was discussed in finance, the election needs to be certified before we take the other piece off the table for the income tax, so we will be addressing that potentially at our next meeting. Is there unfinished business this evening? Is there new business this evening? Oh, Mr. James.
Maybe this is not quite the appropriate time, but our meeting for the Water Pollution Committee is scheduled for a holiday. That's this week. I would like to cancel that.
Okay. I don't see that on our list, so
It was scheduled for Wednesday this week,
very good. Well, we shall,
and I'll take care of trying to get it rescheduled.
no problem. We shall cancel that and make sure that notification goes out. Other new business this evening? Yes, Ms. Bobbitt.
This coming Friday, I believe is the date, the 13th, we need to cancel, we're going to cancel the safety committee meeting that's on the 13th, and right now it's set for the 20th.
So the safety committee meeting scheduled for November 13th is being moved to November 20th.
Correct.
Okay?
Where?
Same place, what is the room,
1897 room.
second floor.
I already have that room, I think.
Oh, you do?
I believe you might.
I do.
Yeah, that's
There
17.
you
Well,
go,
that's
right about it.
that's the
Well,
next
then we
one
can't
down.
do that.
You could arm wrestle for it.
No,
Yeah, he had it first.
well, no.
I'd
No,
pay
we
some good
can
money
move-
to see that arm wrestling match.
No, we can
On
move
the
to-
official city calendar, it was for this Friday. For
I
yours.
can move,
Right.
Yeah.
No,
I'll tell you, I mean, I'll tell you what, I'll move my meeting.
you don't need to do that, Tom.
It'll work.
I mean,
Look at this bipartisan cooperation. I mean, this just warms my heart.
I'll tell you what, we will move
Okay.
I will move my meeting back to the IT City Hall basement, or the annex, IT area, and then that way you can have the 1897 room.
Well, thank you, Tom.
You're welcome.
So just to be clear, safety November 20th at City Hall 1897, IT Telecom at the IT Telecom
Annex basement.
Annex basement. Okay. Further new business. If not, we're going to see if interim clerk Deb has all that down. Please read our upcoming meetings.
The next regular session of City Council is November 23rd at 6:30 PM in this room. And then December 14th at 6:30 PM in this room. Upcoming special meetings, there are none. The upcoming committee meetings, the safety meeting has been moved to November 20th, 2020 at 7:30 at City Hall in the 1897 conference room. The IT Telecom meeting, I have that as November 20th at 7:30 AM at City Hall 1897 conference room.
Now at the annex.
It's now at the annex.
Right.
And Finance is meeting November 23rd at 6 PM in City Council chambers. Service, December 4th at 7:30 AM in the City Hall 1897 conference room. Code and Enforcement Zoning, December 7th at 8 AM City Hall 1897 conference room. And Water Pollution Control, December 9th at 8 AM at City Hall 1897 conference room.
Very good. Are there any bills this evening?
I have PNC for MNCO for $517.90, publication of legislation.
Thank you very much.
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion to pay the bill.
Second?
We have a motion and a second to pay the bill. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Is there a need for an executive session this evening? If not, oh, you were getting excited. You ready to adjourn, or you want to say something?
No, I want to say something.
Yes, Mr. Stoughton.
Probably should have said this in new business,
That's
but
okay.
I just want to thank Clerk Deb. I think she did an outstanding job tonight. So.
Clerk Deb did
Thank
do an
you.
outstanding job.
Thank
We
you.
appreciate
Did.
you sitting in, and we take for granted, I think, Clerk Sandy and how much she has done this, and it just rolls. But you came in and did a fantastic job. So
Thank you.
thank you for your willingness to do it. Anything else to come before? Bob, you always did a great job too. I just didn't. I didn't want to sit beside you for an hour.
I was going to
so
say that.
You got fired. Oh, on that note, is there a motion to adjourn?
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion that we adjourn.
We
Second.
have a motion and a second to adjourn the meeting. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Remember, please, to sign your legislation. If you have not, stay safe and have a great week.
You get into that, Gail.
So,
I like the gavel.